So let's talk about Spike at your service. Now this episode debuted in Season 3E, and it was the 9th episode of that season. Now the reason I want to talk about this is due to the fact that, well, Season 3 was the shortest season out of them all, because no one really knew what was going to come next, until it was confirmed that we were going to get future seasons, or more seasons to come. But I bring this up because Spike at Your Service is significant for doing one specific thing. And that thing was establishing what would be known as the AppleSpike relationship, which is short for Applejack and Spike. And the reason it's well known for establishing this is due to the fact that one of the most well-renowned fan fiction audio drama stories out there today, is Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord. And Bride of Discord, more than anything, around the middle part of the story, maybe even at the beginning, but the middle part of the story, pretty much established or was built upon what occurred in Spike at Your Service. That's right. From what I can remember, from what I can tell, and I have to go back and watch this again, but basically, in the middle portion of Bride of Discord, pretty much anything that happened in Spike at Your Service, mostly at the conclusion of that episode, was basically made into a romance. It was made into a romance. Basically, Spike at Your Service served as the foundation of the inevitable romance that would happen in Bride of Discord. Now, Bride of Discord, it was created by fellow MLP fan Disney Fanatic. And Disney Fanatic pretty much has gone on record and has basically stated that Applejack and Spike, or AppleSpike, or Spikejack, if you will, depending on how you want to, use a shortened, coded ship name for them, is one of her personal favorites. As a matter of fact, she's even, gone and uploaded compilation videos on her YouTube page of all the AppleSpike moments that was sprawled or thrown without, or spread throughout the entire series, including the last season. And because of what she did, she started to gain more supporters for the ship. I'm not lying. Disney Fanatic was not the only one that came out and said, hey, we support and enjoy this ship between Spike and Applejack. Many others started to appear. And over time, the fanon, as it's called, the F-A-N-O-N, fanon, F-A-N-O-N, ship of Spike and Applejack became more prominent and more recognized by fans, to the point that, as I've mentioned before, in Best Gift Ever, when basically you have the entire main 7, doing the Secret Santa or Heartwarming Helper, of course, one of the story plots is Spike becoming eventually, or wanting to be, and eventually becoming Rarity's Heartwarming Helper, her Secret Santa. But at the same time, we find out that not only does Rarity have Applejack after, we see Spike finally get Rarity, but we also find out in between that Applejack got Spike. Now, the reason I brought this up on several occasions and even did a video on it is due to the fact that even the creators themselves, the staff themselves, recognize the AppleSpike ship that was pretty much established in fanon-canon perspectives by Disney Fanatic and the Bride of Discord story arc. But the question is, why is AppleSpike so popular? Why do people support it? Heck, why in one of the variant covers of the most recent My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 10 series, which was, I think, issue 95, do we get a cover of Applejack and Spike on the front, front and center, if you will? Why is that? And I think it's mainly because of the fact that, again, this is something, this ship is something that was created due to the fact of, due to the ending and basically the plot of Spike at Your Service. Now, when you look at Spike at Your Service, basically it's an episode where it centers around Applejack and Spike, but mostly centers around, Spike wanting to repay Applejack for saving his life, no matter how long it took. And even though she tried to get the help from her friends to try to get him to, repay his debt as quickly as possible, the lesson and moral of that story was just be appreciative and grateful you have friends around that care about you enough that they're willing to protect you without any kind of repayance needed. So, with that said, basically Spike at Your Service, even though it had that great moral, basically was the foundation, as I mentioned, and the setup for this whole relationship between Spike and Applejack to happen. And again, it became so influential within the fan base itself that, as I mentioned, not only did you have the creative staff of Friendship is Magic basically Easter egg it into Best Gift Ever with the revelation that eventually, Spike got Rarity and Rarity has Applejack, but Applejack got Spike. But now you also have the creative staff, on the IDW comic slipping in this variant cover, which was known as cover RI, I think, or R1, with Spike and Applejack on the front, front and center. Kind of teasing that, hey, maybe there's something there between those two. But when you get down to it, everybody has their opinion on who they feel, Applejack should be with, or who Spike should be with, and vice versa. But when it comes to AppleSpike, it's like, when you list off basically the top, like almost the top 5 or top 10 canon or fanon, ships out there within the fan base, Applejack and Spike is right at the top. I mean, as I've mentioned before in a video, talking about that whole situation in Best Gift Ever, basically within that one scenario where, where Spike gets Rarity and, Rarity gets Applejack and Applejack gets Spike, it's pretty much the creators, Easter egging and basically throwing us a bone, if you will, by, within a kind of unique circle, tying it all together, focusing and acknowledging all 3 popular ships. And these are the top 3, believe it or not. In my opinion, from what I could tell, the top 3 MLP ships in the entire Friendship is Magic Generation 4 franchise. That's what they are. They are the top 3. Because you can't go anywhere sometimes, whether it's a convention, online, or whatever the case may be, without basically asking somebody who do they think are the top 3 MLP ships, both canon, fanon, and all of the above. And not one person will not come out and basically in that top 5 or top 3 have Spike and Applejack. Applejack Rarity, Spike and Rarity. Not one person, will do a top 5 countdown without having, those 3 ships with those characters involved in possibly the top 5 or top 3, from what I can tell. But yeah, Spike at Your Service was basically, not only a good episode, well, good, but also mixed. It had its detractors and had its attractors and stuff like that. But it had a decent moral, like I said. And that moral was basically be appreciative and grateful of having friends that are willing to help you without any kind of repayance needed. But again, the one thing that Spike at Your Service did, despite having a good moral, like that, contained within it, was basically the fact that it set up the foundation for what Disney Fanatic would utilize in Bride of Discord, in her story, Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord. And it's not just Disney Fanatic either. There's a lot of people that have actually built upon that as well. I mean, yeah, as I mentioned, Disney Fanatic has used compilations, basically put together compilation videos of all the Applejack Spike moments throughout the entire series, if you will. But you also have others that are basically backing up the ship as well by doing PMVs on it, by utilizing, scenes from the show and fan art and all that. Heck, you have somebody that recently, as of, late last year, early this year, utilized the song "Looking for a Cowgirl," on Spike and Applejack's relationship, on the AppleSpike relationship. And how did they do this? They did it very creatively by basically using a software where they took certain moments that focused on Spike with another character, and they used the software to kind of recolorize that character to be the color of Applejack. And then they took like the beginning scenes of Last Prom with grown-up Spike and putting him, basically by using the software right next to, Friendship is Magic, Applejack of the present. Kind of trying to, in their own unique way, use that same animation to kind of splice together, a unique setting that, in their opinion, confirms in their mind the Apple-Spike relationship. And again, like I said, that's as recent as this year and last year. But overall, again, to me, like I said, people have an opportunity, have opportunities out there to ship whoever they want to ship. If they want to ship Applejack with Spike, that's fine. They want to ship Spike with Rarity, that's fine. They want to ship Rarity with Applejack, that's fine. That's their opinion. That's their choice. But when I look at AppleSpike, and how it came to be, and then I look at the influence it's had outside of the fandom, where basically, like I said, you have creative staffs of both the animated series and the comic book pretty much throwing you an Easter egg or acknowledging that ship in their own way, then it shows you basically that if they decided to make it official, if you will, sometime down the line in some capacity, whether it's acknowledged with the Descendants in G5, whether it's acknowledged in Season 10's comic, whatever the case may be. Here's the thing. As I've mentioned before, I don't think anybody would be against it. I don't think anybody would be against it. And I don't think anybody shipping Applejack and Rarity together, which is Rarajack for short. I don't think anybody that ships Sparity, Spike and Rarity together, or Rare Spike, which is short for Rarity and Spike. I don't think they would mind because, honestly, it could work. Because honestly, the way, Disney Fanatic set it up in her story, they realize it could work. It can actually work. And there are some people, like I said, that do stories on their own that build upon, like what Disney Fanatic did in Bride of Discord. Because, this one story I read at Film Fiction where basically, Applejack is starting to feel nauseous. She doesn't know what's going on. Twilight tries to figure out what it is, can't figure it out. And it's only till, like, later on does Applejack realize that what's wrong with her is she's fallen in love with Spike, or she's fallen in love with Spike because he's there, because there's a moment in the story where he's there with he's there with Twilight to check up on Applejack, and he's willing to help her. He's willing to do a lot for her, like serve her soup, apple soup, which she's surprised he made, and is surprised that it's as good as it is, to the point that she's gulping it down, showing that she still has an appetite, but something else is going on, to where she's temporarily role-playing with him, and he's rubbing her feet because she's playing the role of a Majesty Princess, things like that, and it's like, oh, hoofs, if you will. And it's like, when you read this story, it kind of makes sense. It kind of feels like it would fit in to the actual official canon and continuity of the cartoon, of the animated series, if you will. Because it's like after Spike and Spike and Twilight leave, does Applejack realize eventually in basically her inner self, her conscience is telling her this, that basically the reason she's feeling the way she is, reason she has that nauseousness and all that, but it suddenly went away when Spike and Twilight were there, was because of Spike, because she's fallen in love with Spike. So, again, when you look at what Disney Fanatics set up in Bride of Discord, and then follow that up with Daughter of Discord, and then others have taken inspiration of with their own film fiction or fan fiction stories, and the fact that it's, the influence of the ship has spread so much that even on the outside you have the creative staff, like I said, of both versions of Friendship is Magic, instituting it in some way or form into the official canon, into the official continuity. You know, what more can be said than, you know, it shows you the impact, the true impact that the fandom has. It shows you the true impact the fandom has, even to the point that they're able to get some kind of acknowledgement, you know, of a fanon, an Fanon ship between two characters like Applejack and Spike, AppleSpike, acknowledged in some shape or form. Like I said, with Best Gift Ever, and in that cover, with the variant cover, which is known as Cover RI, for the recent issue 95. It really shows you the impact that the fandom has on Friendship is Magic, no matter what the situation. You know, it shows you the impact. It shows you how impactful the Bronies and the Pegasisters are. It really does. Because if you have Disney Fanatic, you know, you basically utilizing Spikeature's service, mostly the ending of it and all that, as her catalyst, as her foundation to make this ship a reality, to the point that, like I said, it's able to, you know, go outside of the fandom, you know, outside of her personal audio drama projects, and have the official, you know, creators of both the comic series, which is now a continuation and within the same continuity of the animated series with the season 10, version of the IDW books, as well as the official cartoon series with basically Best Gift Ever and other moments. Again, it shows you how impactful fans can be. It shows you how impactful and influential fans can be if they're able to get even the official creative staff of Friendship is Magic on both perspectives, on both sides of the equation, to acknowledge the Spike and Applejack relationship by just having, you know, these moments here and there with, like, you know, Applejack revealing she drew Spike and Best Gift Ever, you know, as his heart swimming helper and stuff like that, as well as, you know, you have, like I said, this cover for the recent issue 95. It really makes you really think, really realize, and, you know, think, you know, not only think, but basically realize how impactful the fandom is. It really does. And I can't say any more than that. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt that Sparity is basically a top priority when it comes to having any kind of romance with the main characters acknowledged. Just ask Hasbro with the MLP official YouTube page and the Rarity and Spike, or Spike and Rarity's love story video they did. And there you go. But still, you know, again, besides Sparity, it just shows you, like I say, the impact, you know, that the fandom has, to the point that they're able to get something like AppleSpike acknowledged in any shape, form, or fashion in an official context, if you will. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come out and talk about that, and, you know, basically, you know, come out and just say how impactful, and basically, you know, just in my own unscripted way, just, you know, kind of talk about how impactful the fandom that I'm proud to be part of, you know, can be, even on an official level, if you will, to the point that they're able to get, like I said, these little moments thrown in there in the official, adaptations or versions of Friendship is Magic, whether it's Best Gift Ever, the Christmas special, holiday special, or just a variant cover featuring them front and center for an issue that's mainly focused on Cheese Sandwich and Pinkie Pie. You know, but yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk about how, you know, how influential the fandom is, and you know, we have to realize that fandoms, you know, any kind of fandom has that kind of impact. You know, if they choose to. If they choose to allow it to be, they can be they can have a huge impact on the franchise, on the characters, and in a way kind of make that impact become a, you know, get acknowledged officially in some way, just like we had here. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. How do you feel about AppleSpike, Applejack Spike? How do you feel about the impact the fandom has had, to the point that, You know, even outside of it, you have the official the official creators of both the comics and the show, you know, acknowledging it in some capacity. What are your thoughts overall? Did Disney Fanatic's story get you into probably giving Applejack Spike, if you will, a chance? What are your thoughts down below? Do you think if they wanted to go that route that, you know, fans of both Barity and Rarest Jack would be cool with it? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments in the live chat during the premiere. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. So till next time, God bless, take care, stay safe, get vaccinated if you can, and I will talk to y'all later.